Hi guys, let me get myself sorted out. Yes, here we are. Sorry about the small technical difficulty there right now. As we were going live, everything went off and it was like, reload your screens. But at least we're here today. What are we talking about? Biokinetic canine, of course. We are talking about fitness and conditioning for our canine athletes. I believe our dogs are all athletes and they are awesomely built to do exactly what they're supposed to be doing. So Biokinetic Canine, who am I? I'm Angela Ahern, certified canine athlete specialist and canine myofascial release practitioner. We're going to be talking about the 3 things you need to remember when you are doing any strength training with your dog. So what am I talking about here? Let's see, when we do strength training, all our dogs need strength training, especially if we are talking about dogs that partake in sport. If your dog does any sport, or even if they're really busy dogs, for them to be safe in their sport, it's important that they are strong enough to do what you ask them to do under speed, under tension. That's the most important thing when it comes to strength training. So if you're looking at, let's look at any sport, agility, in order for those dogs to go faster around the course, so they go around those courses in 30 odd seconds. And in order for them to go faster in such a small period of time, in a short time, they need to have strength in their muscles to take their body forward and move quickly through the course. They need power in their back legs to launch forward, but also in their front legs to pull them forward and jump. So as they're jumping, they're not only pulling with their front legs and their shoulders and their top back muscles, but along the spine, the muscles down the back, and then those hind leg muscles that thrust to go over the hurdle. You need all the strength for that. You need the strength to land. So the muscle strength to protect the shoulders and the shoulder joints, you need that muscle strength to contract and control the landing. But not only in the front shoulders, you need also the muscles all along the back of the spine to contract and to hold the rest of the body, that weight coming forward, and the back legs to come in, and the core muscles to tuck underneath the body and land with the back legs and still maintain that momentum and then turn to go into the next obstacle, wherever it may be. Similarly, even if you look at the picture here to my, I don't know which way you left or right, but the dog going over the A-frame. If you analyze the A-frame in IGP, your dog has to go from a seated position, take off, because the judge always looks, is the dog doing it with power? The dog has to take off, launch itself up the A-frame, grab onto the parallel bars, the 3 parallel slats that go up, grab the top and then pull itself. So it's using all its front legs, shoulders and top back to pull itself up, hind leg thrust to launch it up, and then also then to go over. You'll see the shoulders here of the dog going over the A-frame. But now to go down, it needs huge control because it's got all that power going up. But to go down, if it just jumps off the top, you get points deducted because it's an unsafe movement, and that means you haven't trained really well. And now to go down, it's got to go down with power, but then also slow itself so that it doesn't plant into the bottom of the ground at the bottom. So in order to slow itself down, it needs more power in its shoulders to hold itself back, but in the hamstrings and in the core to hold itself back and then to launch off. Pick up the dumbbell, turn tight, do that whole thing back again, and then come with speed up against towards its handler. It's a huge exercise, and the control of the muscles are huge, but the control of strong muscles makes all the difference. It puts that where your dog's doing the exercise and everybody in the crowd goes, ooh, wow, and you get the applause. That's what strength does. So strength training is seriously important for any sport. Similarly, your fly ball, to go over those hurdles with speed, you need power. To hit the platform, because all that power is coming with the dog, that instant turn and that instant force as it hits the platform and that momentum of the turn, the body needs strength to turn and control the turn coming out. Similarly, just name any sport, even if it's dock diving, if it's jumping into the dam, if the dog hasn't got the strength, it will get injured. If it hasn't got the strength of the muscles to protect the skeleton and the joints, it will get injured. That's why you need strength training. Hi, Elna. Welcome. So let's get on to it. What are the 3 things that you always need to remember when you are training for strength? Number 1, we need to look at targeting your specific muscles, your specific muscle groups. What are you targeting and why are you targeting and for what purpose are you targeting those muscles? So when it comes to IGP, you're looking at definitely shoulders for going around heights, challenging your A-frame, challenging the jump, fighting the helper off when he's hanging on the sleeve, because you don't want the dog to hang in the neck. You want them to use those front shoulders and actually physically fight the helper. That's the most important part. You don't want a dog just hanging there with its front legs off the helper. So you want fight from the front shoulders. In agility, you want the landing, you want the turning. All your turning maneuvers come in the shoulders. And many agility dogs have shoulder injuries because there is issues with their training, there's issues with their fitness preparation, but the amount of use in the shoulders is huge. And if you don't have the muscle strength to protect those joint areas, you get damage. So you want to know what you are training, what muscle groups you're training. So when it comes to shoulders, why are you training them? So when you're training your shoulders, you are training the pulling part of the shoulder movement, but also the pushing part. So in your A-frame picture that we've got here, it's the pulling up, but then as he's coming down, that pushing backwards to slow him down so he doesn't plant into the ground, those shoulders, those muscles as well. So the front and the back, you're training this entire area. So for humans, it's rotator cuff and it's trapezium, and it's along the back muscles as well to control the back end of the dog coming through. You also want to train particularly the core muscles. So not just strength of the core, but the stability of the core muscles. So the small muscles, yes, you want to keep those strong that hold the spine together. And the posture of the dog that work all the time, but you also want to work the big muscle groups to control that core. So particularly if you've got a longer dog, a longer middle dog, some people say, oh, the dogs are quite long compared to height, then those core muscles, there's a lot more stretch in those core muscles, and you really need to have those muscles strong. So your longer dogs they may be prone to your iliopsoas injuries, especially those dogs that do beautiful. They jump like gazelles over their jumps. And the back legs, you'll see them also in your dock diving dogs, the back legs are really stretched all the way out. Those muscles are stretched, but a stretched muscle becomes a weak muscle unless you strengthen them. So you need to have a strong, flexible muscle, not just a stretched muscle that is weak. So you target those areas for strength. Even if you're looking at your hunt point retrieve dogs, they need strong toes of all things. And you can strengthen their feet and their toes because they're over various kinds of terrain. I've been on one of the trials and the terrain is unreal. Those dogs, how they get through those areas is something else. So you need to strengthen feet. You need to strengthen the pasterns for the dog to climb over a frame, to climb over the obstacles in agility, for stopping because they're going to be landing and they're going to overstretch their pasterns. where am I? Here. They're going to overstretch them as they land. So you need to strengthen these muscles here, forearm muscles in a dog. Similarly, then your back end. Not only do you need to strengthen the back end of the hind leg, so the quads, just for the takeoff and the push of the jump, or the push to get the helper, you also need to strengthen those hamstrings for the landing or the deceleration of a dog. Many people forget that a powerful dog goes up fast, but they use all the different muscles to slow down safely and to stop and to brake, put the brakes on hard when they need to. So the deceleration muscles, they also need to be strengthened. And you need to concentrate on what groups you're going to be working on and why you're working on those particular muscle areas with your dog. So you target exercises for specific groups of muscles, and you target them on purpose. So we're looking at front and shoulders, you're looking at feet, front and back, you're looking at quads, hamstrings, core, and lats and trapezium and neck muscles, especially for your protection sports dogs, so that they're not just hanging and using their skeleton and their joints and ligaments to take all the strain, but the muscles can be strong enough to hold that body. Then number 2, when you are training, it's very important. Strength training is for low impact training. If you take humans and if you take your big, strong human sports, so if you look at power sports like powerlifting, weightlifting, bodybuilding, all of those power sports, you will never see people practicing their sport under speed. It is the most dangerous thing in the world. And no disrespect to our CrossFit guys out there, but when I see you running, going to pick up a weight and do a clean and jerk, and you lift those weights under a time trial, your muscles haven't got the time to engage and to look after your body. And that's when injuries happen. You cannot do a strength exercise under speed. It's very dangerous. So when you're doing power exercises and strength exercises, you need to do it under low impact conditions, you could say. So it is to engage the muscle, to put extra weight on it, and you can use things as a weight besides giving the dog a dumbbell. The dog doesn't know what to do with dumbbell, but you can use gravity, you can use platforms, etc. as your weight. And the most important thing to build muscle and to build strength is to train like a powerlifter. You're going to have not too many repetitions, the heavier or more difficult the exercise is, and it's not a cardio exercise. You want those muscles to work on purpose. So you want to have engaged muscle activity at all times. And then if you look at a lot of dog training equipment, if you're going to use a lot of weight or strength training doesn't happen on a unsteady surface. If you look at your big, strong powerlifters, they will never ever do a squat on a Bosu ball or an unstable surface. Their surface has to be absolutely sturdy so that their muscles that they are working are fully engaged. We cannot have the weight dispersed and have balancing muscles coming into play now to keep balance, because then that concentration is not being used all on the quads, for example, if you're doing a squat. So you want to have stable surface, not a balancing exercise, but pure strength training. Then you have got training that is going to increase the strength of your dog. But as soon as you bring in balance, that strength portion will be diminished. All right, so very important. Strength training is a low impact training exercise. If you have got weighted vests, etc., it is a low impact exercise. You cannot go running with the dog with a weighted vest at all. That momentum that it takes the dog with a weighted vest and running exercises, etc., puts extra strain on joints and extra strain on ligaments and tendons, your dog will have an injury. And you will see the injuries a little bit later on, because as per this next point here, the muscles have to break down in a particular way to become stronger. So you break down muscle cells and muscle fibers. It's very different to breaking down a muscle where there's now actually a strain or a sprain. That's not strengthening a muscle. So you're breaking down a muscle to its fiber and cellular level so that those fibers and cells can regrow and make the muscle stronger again and build more muscle tissue. That's how your powerlifters and your bodybuilders get the extra muscle that they have on their body, because they break down the muscle enough for it to regrow. So your rest period is very important for that regrowth to take place, and the muscle builds itself stronger than what it was before. It has to break down safely. So you will see that all of these things, even if you look at your human athletes, I like to compare our dogs to human athletes. Your very, very fast runners, if you look at your 100-meter sprints in the Olympics, you're looking at Usain Bolt, etc., and you look at the shape of their bodies, they are muscular and they've got intense speed, intense power for the 100 meters. They don't have endurance muscles. So running your dog for 10 to 20 kilometers is not going to give you strength. It'll give you cardio training. The heart will be very, very fit at that speed for X amount of kilometers, and your dog will be wonderfully cardio fit, but it will not grow muscle strength. And muscle strength we need in the sports that I've mentioned. You need it in fast, intense performances like agility, like IGP, PSA, flyball, dock diving. The only endurance I see when it comes to dogs that need endurance but still strong muscles, strong feet, is your hunt point retrieve dogs that go hunting and they've got to run, trot for kilometers at a time. And during a trial, which can go on to 4 or 5 days, they need good endurance and good recovery. And of course, if we're going to be doing mushing, which not much happens in this country, but yes. So cardio is important, but strength for the type of sport that I've mentioned now is more important. Strength training will increase your speed and increase your power, and those are the scoring points that judges look at. So even if it comes to agility, to clear those jumps so that you're not knocking down anything, you need strength each time. And especially if your dog is going to be doing a couple of jumps or a couple of trials in a day, they need to maintain that muscle power and maintain that strength. So if you enjoyed today's talk, please pop me a message. You can email me at fit@thebiokinetic canine. Our website is thebiokineticcanine.com. Also, we are starting our new membership. We're launching it this month. It'll be founders members come in at a really good price, less than a t-shirt price actually, for the month of June. And then we will be going up to our normal price. So what is the difference between these talks and our membership? Loads. So here I've told you about strength training, but if you want to learn more about how you do strength training and what you look at, what exercise you're looking at, and how you're going to be implementing it, please come join us. I'll send the link afterwards and you will have an absolute ball. You get one-on-one information with me. We get videos. We're going to put everything together. But because we're just starting up and we're putting all the information together, you get it at a better price. So help me help you. All right. I'm glad that Bob enjoyed the talk. I hope you can use it with your dogs. If there's anything you need, send me an email, direct message me. I'll send you the link to our members site where you're going to learn all about the hows, how to carry out all these exercises. Like, for example, just to sit your dog. How you sit your dog will develop 3 areas of the body, and we show you how. So it can develop the shoulders, or it can develop the hind legs, or it can develop the core. But how you do that sit exercise develops those muscles. So if you want to know some more, send me an email, pop me a direct message, and I'll send you the link to our membership site, and we can get together. All right, so for less than a t-shirt a month, you can have all of these things available to your dog, and you can make your dog that awesome thing that he is actually, but now you can show it, and you want the people in the audience to go, ooh, that's the goal. All right, have an excellent weekend, guys. Have a very nice Friday evening and weekend further, and I will see you next time. Cheers.